How do you write an equation to multiply fractions and mixed numbers? Yesenia is really great at drawing visual representations for multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. How could she show these problems as equations? In this lesson, you will learn how to multiply fractions and mixed numbers by using visual representations and writing equations. Let's start with some review. Fractions are made of two parts. 1/2 has 1 for the numerator and 2 for the denominator. The top number is always called the numerator, and the bottom number is always called the denominator. Fractions also show a part-to-whole relationship. So here, the numerator is the part, and the denominator is the whole. Fractions can also show division. 1/2 can be read as 1 divided by 2, where 1 is the dividend and 2 is the divisor. It can be rewritten as 1 divided by 2 or 1 divided by 2. Yesenia says I can show 1/2 times 6 with an area model. I'll start by drawing 6 boxes since that's the whole group. So there's the 6 boxes. Then I'm going to take a look at my fraction. The denominator shows me I need to divide each box into 2 equal parts. So there are my equal parts. And the numerator shows me that I get to keep 1 out of every 2 pieces. So there's my halves. And I can put all the pieces back together to make wholes. I could write this as an equation. 1/2 times 6 over 1 is equal to my number. I can combine the two numerators to show that 1 times 6 is my new numerator and 2 times 1 is my new denominator. The numerators multiply to show how many pieces she has, and the denominators multiply to show how the whole group is divided into pieces. So I get 6 halves, which is equal to 3. Let's try another one, 1/4 times 1/2. I can show this with an area model. I'll start by drawing a box. I'll draw a line vertically to make 1/2, and I'll color in half. So there's my half. Next, I will draw horizontal lines to make fourths, and I'll color in 1/4. So there are my lines to make fourths, and there's my 1/4. There's one piece where the lines overlap, and that's 1 out of 8, or 1/8. I could write this as an equation. I have 1 times 1 over 4 times 2. The numerators multiply to show how many pieces she has. The denominators multiply to show how the whole group was divided into pieces. That gives me 1/8. Now let's try multiplying 1/3 times 1 1/2. I can also show this with an area model. I'm going to start by drawing 2 boxes because 1 1/2 is going to need 2 boxes to show it. I'm going to draw a vertical line to mark 1/2 and then color in 1 1/2 boxes. Next, I'm going to deal with the 1/3. So I'm going to draw horizontal lines to mark the thirds, and I'll color in 1/3. There are 2 pieces where the lines overlap, 1/3 and 1/6. And I can write this problem also as an equation. But I'm going to need to decompose the mixed number into an improper fraction. So I can recopy 1/3, but I'm going to change 1 1/2 into 3 halves. Now I'm ready to multiply. I'll multiply the 2 numerators, and I'll multiply the 2 denominators. So here you can see it rewritten as 1 times 3 equals 3, and 3 times 2 equals 6. That's 3/6, which I know is equal to 1/2. The numerators multiply to show how many pieces she has, and the denominators multiply to show how the whole group was divided into pieces. Let's take a look now at 2 mixed numbers. Here I've marked 1 1/2, and then I've marked 1 1/3. Let's see what's really happening here. We have 1 times 1, and we have 1/3 times 1. Then we could multiply 1 times 1/2 and 1/3 times 1/2. This decomposing the problem into smaller pieces is a great strategy to help you understand what's happening in the area model. I can see each of my answers and how I would combine them. They each need to have a common denominator, so I could rewrite this as 1 plus 2 6 plus 3 6 plus 1 6 equals 1 and 6 out of 6 parts, or 6 sixths, which is equal to 2. I could actually write this as an equation. The group of 1 times 1 plus the group of 1/3 times 1 plus the group of 1 times 1/2 plus the group of 1/3 times 1/2 equals my area. I could also decompose the mixed numbers into improper fractions. Then I can multiply the numerators to see how many pieces I have, and multiply the denominators to show how the whole group was divided into pieces. Here I'll show you what I mean. Instead of 1 1/3, I could write 4/3, and instead of 1 1/2, I could write 3/2. Now I could multiply the numerators together, and I could multiply the denominators together, so that I would have 4 times 3 equals 12, and 3 times 2 equals 6. 12 sixths, which is equal to 2. In this lesson, you learned how to multiply fractions and mixed numbers by using visual representations and writing equations.